Have you ever stopped to think about how your smallest everyday decisions, like really small, actually connect to the giant complex machine we call the economy? Well, that's exactly what we're going to break down today. We're going to see how the simple choices you make are the building blocks for how entire economies work.
Okay, let's just dive right in. It all starts with a simple choice. I mean, think about it. Coffee or tea, one more episode or go to bed. What's going on in your head in that moment? That feeling, that little calculation, is the starting point for literally everything we're about to talk about.
So let's put a name to that feeling, right? That little voice that says, maybe just one more. Economists have a specific way to measure the value we get from that one more, and that's where we're going to start.
And here it is. It's called marginal utility. Now, that might sound a little academic, but it's super simple. Marginal just means one additional, and utility is just a fancy word for happiness or satisfaction. So it's the extra bit of joy you get from that second slice of pizza or that next cup of coffee. It's a really simple but incredibly powerful idea. It's all about focusing on the bonus satisfaction you get from that very last unit of something you consume, not the total experience.
Now here's where it gets interesting. This utility isn't a flat line. At first, as you consume more, your total happiness goes up. Awesome. Then you hit a peak, that perfect point of maximum satisfaction. But if you keep going, that marginal utility can actually become negative, and your overall satisfaction starts to drop. You know, like that third piece of cake you absolutely did not need.
So how does this work when we have to choose between different things? I mean, life is rarely about just one thing, right? It's a constant series of trade-offs. So let's take a look at how we can actually map that out. To picture this, economists use this really cool tool called an indifference curve. Just think of it like a map of your happiness. It shows all the different combinations of, say, movies and concerts that would make you equally happy.
And this shows you exactly how it works. Don't worry about all the text, just focus on that curve. Whether you're at a point with a lot of good B and a little of good A, or a point with a lot of good A and a little of good B, if you're on that line, your overall satisfaction level is exactly the same. You are literally indifferent between those two options.
And these curves, they always follow a few basic rules. They slope downward because, well, you have to trade one thing to get more of another. They're bowed inward, which reflects how your trade-offs change. And a higher curve is always better. More is more. And crucially, two of these curves can never, ever cross.
Okay, so that's the demand side of the equation. That's us, our wants, our choices. But that's only half the story, isn't it? For us to make all these choices, someone, somewhere, has to be making all this stuff in the first place.
So let's flip the script. Let's take a peek inside the mind of the producer. This section is all about the fundamentals of production. You know, the process of turning inputs like labor and materials into the goods and services we all want.
So here we see the producer's playbook. On the left, you've got the key numbers they're always watching: total, marginal, and average product. And on the right, you can see how those numbers look on a graph, showing the link between their inputs, like workers, and the total output they can crank out.
Let's just quickly break these down. Total product, that's the easy one. It's the grand total of everything they made. Marginal product, hey, there's our friend marginal again, is the extra stuff you get from adding just one more worker. And average product is just the output per worker. All three are absolutely critical for a producer to keep their eye on.
But here's the thing. You can't just keep adding more workers or more machines and expect your output to grow forever and ever. At some point, you hit a wall. And this leads us to one of the most famous laws in all of economics.
This table lays it out perfectly. In stage 1, you're adding workers, and you get huge gains. It's awesome. In stage 2, you're still getting more output, but the extra boost from each new worker starts to get smaller and smaller. And then you hit stage 3. You've added too many people, they're getting in each other's way, and your total output actually starts to fall. And this graph shows you exactly what that looks like. You can see that total product curve, the TP, climbing, leveling off, and then eventually falling. The sweet spot, the place every producer wants to be, is right there in stage 2, where output is still growing efficiently right before you hit that point of negative returns. Okay, for our final part, let's zoom out. We've gone from a single person to a single company. Now let's look at the biggest picture of all, the absolute production limit of an entire economy. This is called the Production Possibility Frontier, or PPF. You can think of it like an economy's speed limit. It's a curve that shows the maximum possible combination of two goods, let's say cars and computers, that a country can produce if it's using all of its resources at 100% efficiency.
Now, to draw this nice, clean line, we do have to simplify things a bit. We have to assume that for this snapshot in time, resources are fixed, technology isn't changing, and the economy is running like a perfectly tuned engine.
So why does this matter so much? Because the PPF is the ultimate picture of scarcity. It's the hard truth, right there on a graph, that you can't have it all. Because resources are limited, we always face a trade-off. To get more of one thing, a whole society has to agree to give up some of another.
So there you have it. From the tiny satisfaction you get from your morning coffee all the way up to a nation's choice between building more schools or more hospitals, these fundamental principles of choice, trade-offs, and limits are absolutely everywhere. Now, they don't tell us what to choose, but they give us the framework for understanding the consequences. So the real question is, what choices will we make with that knowledge?